What is up, guys? We are back at it again. We have the 350Z and we're doing a camber arm install. The natural camber what you get when you lower a 350Z is pretty significant. I say it's around like 3 or 4 degrees. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it's around there. This is a camber arm install. You may have seen me do it on the G35, but we're going to be doing it on the 350Z this time with the race edition. So these have like solid bushings. They make a little bit more noise, but they should be a little bit stiffer, so better for racing. And I kind of want to go over the difference. So we're going to be installing this real quick, get to the alignment shop, and then we're going to be giving it a test drive and see if there's actually a noticeable difference, just in case you guys want to see what it's like depending on what you order. It's about a $20 difference, which isn't much, so I just said, hey, let's do it. Since I already did this mod one time, I might as well try out the different style. So let's go race mode. This is a drift car. Let's get straight to it. So this is the right side, and what we're gonna need is to remove this right here, which is the camber arm. And this is going to be a 17mm, and then you're also going to have to remove this guy over here to get the bolt out, because the long part's over here. So you're going to have to remove this, and this is a 14mm. It's not too hard. You just have to move it and it gives you enough play where you can actually take out the bolt. So because this 350Z does have the skid plate, it looks like there's some 10 mils that we're gonna have to remove, like maybe here, I don't know, just enough so I can pull it and then get to this bolt back here. So the main one we want to get is the one all the way back over here, because I think that's what's actually giving us the hard time. And with pretty much all matters of suspension, I like to do the same thing on both sides. Don't just have one side lifted up, because I feel like it puts more pressure on one side.
There we go.
Let's see if I'm gonna be able to pull this out. Yeah, it does. You just have to twist it, because one side of the bolt is a little bit longer than the other. I'm not sure if you can see that, but I'll show you once I pull it.
There it is. See how it's not even all the way around? So if you rotate it, you can pull it out. You just kind of have to make it work.
Alright, so if you purchase the off-centric elimination bolt like I did, you have the option to either, I mean, this has to stay like this, but you can replace this bolt with this, and then you would actually need to drill this hole a little bit. You should be able to find a template for this where it lines up, and that'll tell you where to cut more. I don't have a Dremel for this, so if I do decide to do it, I'm probably gonna just let a shop do it, unless I want to buy a Dremel. And you kind of need more space like on the other side to get to it, because you have to do it on all four on the other side of the suspension, so 2 and 2. But I'm gonna go ahead and just put the stock one back on, and if my alignment shop can, ask them if they can put the adjustment for the toe, because when you affect the camber on the suspension, it like there's so many different pivot points that it affects the toe, and then your wheel, instead of being straight, it's going to be pulled in or pulled out. So if you're not sure what toe is, that's kind of what happens. So because the wheel is like this and the natural camber pulls the wheel out like that. When you try to fix the camber, something else which is fixed like this, which would be your tow arm, actually it kind of has to bend to that the wheel of that, and then that's where you get tow, and that's why you would want to get a tow arm, which I highly recommend, because I think I'm still going to be stuck around 3-ish camber. I just want to get this part installed and see what it feels like, because it's going to be different rather than having this type of bushing. Very different. So you may need a little wrench to loosen these up because they get kind of stuck to the middle part, but essentially what you want to do is line up the holes on both sides so that you get similar camber, because you don't want to really mess with it yet. Let the alignment shop do it unless you're going to do it yourself, but make sure that you have enough like play on both sides, so depending on where you want to push it out or push it in, it'll still like have enough play so that you don't have to take out the whole thing and then reinstall it. I'm not going to put any Loctite now, but I do want to make sure it is sturdy when it actually gets mounted on the car. I'm going to let the shop put the Loctite. $53 degrees. That's a spec I want to use for the subframe. Right there. We're going to lock it in at 65. So boom, there we go. On both sides. All we need is the wheel. Put the wheels on, the lug nuts. And we'll go get a little spin around the block and see what the car feels like. Alright boys, so we're going for that test drive right now. I do want to let you know that the car is pretty gutted right now. So you actually just hear a lot of road noise and a lot of other, you know, noises from my car, like rattling and stuff, you know, because just drift car things, I guess. But we're on the road right now. You can kind of hear what the like ambient noise is with having like this top gutted, like there's no roof right now. The whole hatch is pretty much teared apart. The first thing, when I first put it on, I kind of noticed there was a little bit more rattle, like when I kind of like stepped on the gas. A part of it might just be a little bit of exhaust rattle, but also it was a little bit just more loud, and I was like, oh okay. Typically when you install something like this where it's a lot more stiff in the back, you only really benefit from it when you're pushing the car hard, which is when you'll need it. But for daily driving, it's just gonna be pretty ridiculous. It's a lot more stiff, it's more rigid, so it's not gonna be as comfortable of a drive. That's why they don't put it in these cars stock, because most people do not need this. But if your car is mainly to take it to the track, I'd highly recommend it. If you're going for a show car look, just go with the other option, the street camber. Out. We're gonna have to go up right now. We cutting up. We gotta get in the highway. And hopefully these motherfuckers wanna go there too. Come on, bro. Yeah. So that rattle that you hear when I'm gassing it is not necessarily from the camber arms. You will hear a little bit more of a rattle because the bushing does kind of hit, like the subframe and whatnot, because like metal hitting metal. I'm gonna drive a little bit more with the windows down, so maybe you can get a little bit better idea. I honestly think it's kind of harder with the windows down. Yeah, so some of that is just from random rattle. Do expect some more rattle when you're installing these camber arms. That is a given. It's gonna be a little bit more rigid back there, so it's not gonna be as comfortable. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you have any questions about these camber arms. Another difference between this one and the street one is that you don't actually have to grease them, so there's no greasing because it's just bare metal. So a little bit less maintenance, but it's gonna be really rough. So best of luck installing this, and leave a like down below, comment, subscribe, you know, all the shebang. Stay tuned. See you guys next time.